They know me as Coleman Senior. I'm a journalist by profession, and of course, I've been in this space for the last 16 years. Elijah is the founder and the Group CEO of Scholar Media Group Africa. It's Mega Africa. Scholar Media, of course, as Professor Cullen said, it started from here. The humble beginnings that we say. But of course, it has grown to become an international media company. It's now domiciled in Nairobi. I created Scholar Media, in better part of my career, I've been doing success stories, promotive stories, and all that. So I started Scholar Media basically to fill the void in the media industry. Not only here in Kisii, not only here in Kenya, but across Africa. And I said, of course, Scholar Media Africa can be our BBC, can be our CNN, of course, starting from here. And it can spread to other parts of the world. Of course, we are here to rewrite Africa's story, which has been distorted over time. We've seen the international media portraying Africa negatively. Yes, we don't object. Africa has got its share of challenges, just like another part of the continent. I have had an opportunity to go to a few countries, and then I realized we are doing well as Kenya. In as much as, yes, we could be having our own challenges, which is very normal, but we are doing well than many, many countries. So Scholar Media publishes the Scholar Africa magazine. It's a monthly magazine. And of course, it runs a vibrant website called scholarmedia.africa. And of course, now plans are underway to have a TV station. Could be in less than 2 years. We'll be having a TV station, of course, and it will still be focusing what we're doing at the moment as Scholar Media Africa. You look at our motto, it is daily positive change. So we are mainly here to tell the world the many good things that are happening in Africa. And that's how we are writing Africa's story. So we want the world to start reading the many good things that are happening in Africa. I remember there is one lady called Jimamanda DJ Ngozi. Of course, she's a feminist, she's an author, she's a friend. She comes from Nigeria. Some of us might have interacted with what she's doing. She tells the danger of a single story. What she went through when she was in the US, of course, her first time to go to US to get education, and then of course she went through many challenges. There are many bad things about Africa. That is the only thing that her classmates and teachers had. And of course she was like, wow, these people telling me all this. Yes, I come from Africa, Nigeria in particular, but I see many good things about my country and all that. And then of course now she tells this story. Of course she told her colleagues that whatever information or whatever perspective you have for Africa, that's not true. Africa is endowed. Africa has huge potential. And we are doing quite a lot. So she has been campaigning. This is a story that she told several years ago, could be 2 decades. But she keeps on telling this story from time to time. How Africa is so much affected. Or whatever that is said out there negatively, how it affects us. And of course, we can even come down here where we are. There are many negative stories maybe that goes out there. How other people look at them and of course see. They are like, of course, this is what is happening from Kisii. And then they might think that only negative things happen in Kisii. So as Scholar Media, we are here to correct the wrongs in the society. And I'm happy that we are doing our part progressively. For the last 11 years, because Scholar Media started in 2014, so it was incorporated in 2017, we have been doing this, and I'm seeing our stories having a huge positive impact. And because, people reach out from several countries, several places, of course, giving us feedback on what they are reading and what they are seeing. We have also opened our website, so we are able to see comments on the website about what we do. And of course, the kind of feedback that we get from our stakeholders, from our readers, that keeps us moving. And of course, we look forward to telling even more. And of course, Scholar Media, we've been improving from time to time. And I believe going forward, we'll be able to do even better. And of course, what has brought us here is something called mental health. Mental health, according to statistics, I know Dr. Rosie Otieno and those who are in this space, because I know you are doing quite a lot with Kubka and all that, so you know about the statistics. I don't know. They say 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 people have mental challenge or something. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. So if we group ourselves, if we group ourselves and we form a team of a group of 10 people, 4 of us, we have mental. In every 4. Okay. Yeah, that one. So we are not safe. And it is good that we are having these conversations, Professor Cullen and Dr. Rosa and all of us. Mental challenges is a gray, an evergreen area. And of course, as Scholar Media, you look at those areas that we cover. You see education, of course, takes a bigger percentage. We have health. And now when we talk of health, of course, now we have many, many other areas or aspects, including mental health. So what we are doing here at Scholar Media Africa is to advance, to amplify the voices. What we are discussing here, we want the world to see what is happening. And you see, by doing that, then our voices do not end here. Because at the end of the day, you can say a lot, yes. Many of us will be touched here, and of course, at the end of the day, we'll be able to impact many people out there. But of course, if we tell this story, the world will be able to see. The world will be able to see what is happening. And at the end of the day, the story that you tell will possibly affect someone out there positively. Because of course, whatever we do, it affects us or people out there, either negatively or positive. But of course, I'm sure whatever we are doing here, it's going to impact. So my colleagues, we have got this challenge that let us advance these conversations. I know, unlike in the past, I believe, where you could find that maybe elderly or so people were battling this kind of challenges. But at the moment, we're even having young people, of course, quite a number of them. I've happened to interact quite a number of people, including, of course, those that are mentoring. The other day, of course, I was in Kisii University because I'm mentoring engineering students, having been identified me to be their mentor. And of course, this is one of the topics that they identified. They say that we discuss and of course see how you find that many people are opening up what they are going through. So I want to thank each and everyone in this room for having taken that step. And of course, let us keep doing this. And I hope Professor Kaleni and the team will be able to have this kind of sessions from time to time. Could be quarterly, or whichever approach or duration that you'll decide. I think we'll need to have this kind of conversations so that we can even expand audience, and then we have we bring on board quite a number of people. We talk of students, of course, dons, and even partners, and all of us. Of course, we are here. As Scholar Media, I pledge our support. And by the way, I want to say that mental health, because I remember in 2023, I was awarded in Johannesburg, South Africa, as the best journalist in Africa who is under the age. Of course, I was awarded through Scholar Media Africa. And I remember one of the stories because it was pinned, that it was a story about on mental health. I remember a story that I had done myself of a story, of course, in Uganda, and at the end of the day, it had post impact. So I know whatever that we are doing will be able to impact our life. So sorry for having taken long. Sometimes bigger channels, you'll find yourself taking the entire afternoon, and I know I wasn't a speaker. I'm here to also listen. So thanks a lot, Prof, for having invited us. So we look forward to doing more together. Thanks a lot.
I think someone timed him very well. Now we take this opportunity to welcome Lista. Lista, come and take center stage. Yes, karibu sana.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Professor, for the invitation to be here today. Dr. Ross and your team, the staff, Kisii University, and the students, I welcome you to this session. I'm happy for what we have learned here. I wasn't able to attend yesterday. I was away, so I arrived this morning and said I'd be part of this even when it is ending. So I didn't want to fail Professor. She has never failed me for any program I invite her. And I also didn't want to fail the program itself. A professor has told you who I am. And I'm not adding so much to that. That is me. And in a nutshell, I'm so good in many tasks. That is why you've heard I'm a teacher, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a counselor, I'm a mediator, and also I'm a family person. You can see my schoolmates here. You can see my church mates here initially. So I am at home. Dr. Rose, we have been with her in some business, so I'm at home. Margaret is a co-worker in this mental health and wellness, so I am at home in the institution. First, I want to say I loved the song here. The song was actually summarizing the event, or what we have since yesterday to today. I like dealing with machines, and I see how engines operate. I gave my driver, one of my drivers, a vehicle one time, the one that Madam Rose sold to me. And I loved it so much. I took care of it for many years, but I handed it over to the business. So when I handed over to business, one of the new drivers drove it until the engine knocked. So he only tells me, we are stuck in one of the roads. The engine has a problem. He knew what he did, and the engine knocked. Then I started asking myself, so the engine knocked. So can it be repaired? He told me, it seems like, yes, it can, but we can just give it a try. So since that time, I never used that car again. The engine knocked like that, and I sold it as scrap. Just because of a careless mistake. He forgot to caulk the radiator very well, so he checked for the water levels, then he forgot to caulk it, then he drove it. So as it was heating, there was a leakage for water, and the radiator was empty after some time. That is how it died. Why have I brought that story? Is to say, I loved my car so well. I took care of it for the years I was with it. But when I gave it to someone else, within 1 week, I lost my car. Then I was asking myself, this mental health, our brains are our engines. So this engine, you can be taking very good care of it. But sometimes interferences come, and when you allow them, you lose your engine. Sometimes, you yourself, you leave a leakage, and that leakage continues until all the water evaporates and leaves the radiator. Then you knock. We have had people who have started small, issues of family, they have stress, they go to anxiety levels rise, they go to depression. After depression, there they are. Irreversible states arrive. And you have your mother probably was okay. Now you see your mother running on the roads naked. You have your brother who was doing very well in the university. After a short while, your brother is running up and down talking to himself. What happened? The engine was affected. That small thing that you say this one is a very small thing. You avoided it. Today you avoid it, tomorrow you avoid it. The other day, you'll find you are not yourself. You're not coordinating your systems well. We'll see you not well dressed. You cannot actually say what you want to say. You don't know where you are. You don't know what you want to do just because of a slight mistake. I want to thank Professor for bringing this up because it's remedying so many of us. The day we stop talking about this is the day we lose our engines. And it actually shouldn't be like a one-day event and we go for years before bringing it again. I asked the department, this should be a continuous program, just because we are our engines. Those services you are providing in the university, what the students are learning is because your engine is working well. That day your engine stops working, we'll lose you. Your seat will be vacant in those offices. You'll be in the hostels much of the time. Your children will lose you. And that's why when we talked about self-care, when Dr. was talking about self-care, take it seriously. I'm going to handle part of the program this afternoon. I'll be very brief about it because when you become the last speaker, a lot of things have been mentioned. So I will handle psychological first aid. That's what I'm going to handle. I'm also going to handle strategies as individuals and also strategies as a department. And I'm happy to say that Madam Judy has already done a lot of strategies for us, those that we do daily and momentarily as individuals. I'll only mention one or two that are long-term that can help us cope and still maintain our mental health. In a setup like this, we cannot avoid to have psychological first aid. You've heard of first aid? Have you heard of first aid? Yes. First care. What is it that the first assistance, what you do first to remedy a situation, to rescue a situation, or to arrest a situation? So in psychology, we also what we call psychological first aid. What you can do to a situation, what you can do to someone who is under distress or stress or high levels of anxiety, and that person can be able to be assisted or get fast assistance, and he still continues or get referred to other ways of treating the problem. That's actually what we call first aid in psychological terms. So it deals with our emotions, it deals with our connecting between the environment and ourselves, and it also deals with our feelings. So once we are there, we need to know as an institution, as a department, as students, what are we doing first to help someone who is in distress and crying for help, to help a situation or an event, something that takes place around us. What is it that we can do so that we can arrest the situation to avoid long-term damage? If today we have fire in this hall, there is going to be a debriefing. There is going to be a first aid to be done. We'll have to say, yes, there is fire, shout fire, fire, and then check who is unable to escape the room, check for anything that can progress the fire. Those are first aid for events. But now someone in distress. Other people caution us. Actually, some people, when they are in that state of distress, they progress very fast to high levels of anxiety and then they exit. And when we talk about exiting, they think about, can I commit suicide to disappear from the situation? The shame is too much. I can't withstand this. They find ways to exit. Like in a family, you find the tension is too much and you say, I better leave. But some others don't even leave. Leaving is even better. But someone now poisons a family, children, you poison your family, then it becomes like we have lost you just because you skipped an arrest of that situation. So what are we going to do about this psychological first aid as an institution? I'll give three concepts about this, and then you will be able to handle the rest after this. Psychological first aid is the skills and knowledge that we need to handle a situation of distress, either individually or in a group. So we need those skills, and those skills that we need, the knowledge that we need, it's not very professional. You just need common knowledge on how to handle that situation, and you can save someone before they go deeper into high levels of anxiety. So those skills and the knowledge is what we need today. Why do we need this? It's because stress is real. Stress is real. When you strain, every time there is stress, it only depends on whether it's positive stress or negative stress. Why again do we need this? Because we all are exposed to distress. You get to a situation where you cannot be able to cope. That's why when Judy asked us, how do we cope with those circumstances? We gave out our several ways of coping. Some were light, some were so deep, and some were helpful. Some we need to change on how we deal about distress. That is why we need psychological first aid. So what are these skills that we need? One, we need to know how to assess a situation. Assess the situation of this person. We need to know what are the common reactions to this crisis. That situation is a crisis. So what are the common reactions? Then we need to know how do we approach this person or the situation that we are in, that crisis or that person in a distress. How do we calm this person who needs this? You need to calm the person down, reduce anxiety, provide emotional support, and any other physical assistance the person may need. Then we need to know how to provide practical help. You, as a psychological first aider, you only need to know that. Assess the situation, know the distress know the distress, the situation, the crisis, and then how do you provide emotional support and how you provide practical support. So what is this the do's that you need to do when you are doing psychological first aid? You don't need to be a psychologist, counselor to do this. You don't need to be a mental health wellness person to do this. You only need to be yourself to do this. So what you only need to do, number one, is to comfort someone in distress and help them feel safe and calm. Anytime you find someone in distressful situation, this person only needs to be calm or feel calm and safe for him to move to the next minute. Once they miss this step, that's when they escalate the problem and think of ways of exiting or ways of doing something more dangerous than where they are in. You also need to assess, or in this one, we assess needs and concerns. What are the needs of this person? Someone killed a family just because of lack of food or lack of a meal. So what do we do in psychological first aid? Provide the what? The need. The need is food. So someone is calling from the university and saying, someone has never sent me money for pocket money and for my use, so I'm in a room, I'm hungry, I don't have money for whatever, so I will kill myself. So you, as a psychological first aider, assess that need and provide that immediate need. Number three, you need to protect this person from further harm. They will always progress in feelings and progress in actions. Protect this person from further harm. Are we together? Are we together? Number four, provide emotional support. Even saying someone, we are together in this. I remember one time I lost a lot of money. And that time I'd gone to Kakamega to do a mediation. Kakamega Law Courts. So while I was traveling, I was given the news that, you know what, this one is gone. It was a lot of money, so that I can work in my TSC, I can work for about 1 full year to get the money. So I was given the report, I was in the car. That is the first time I understood what stress is. You feel benumbed, you feel like the seat is not comfortable, and yet I was sitting in that seat. You feel like you don't want to see your phone, no one should call you, you don't want to talk. You are expressing those emotions with others in the car. Then I remember and I called a friend and I told a friend, don't go home. I'm almost arriving in Kisii, I want to meet you. So when I met this person, I told him, I don't want to meet you anywhere. Let's meet in my car. So I went to the law courts where I'd left my car, and we sat there, and I expressed how I was feeling. I was like, I don't even want to be anywhere. I don't want to be at home. So, and I told him, you know, I can't even drive this, my car. Help me get home. So when I'm getting home, I feel like that gate is not my gate. I feel so strange. My house is not my house. But a friend gave me emotional support. We are together in this. We'll manage this. It will be okay. And I felt I had someone to lean on. So if this person probably didn't tell me that to support me emotionally, I would have gone to another level to think that it's better I exit, because I couldn't imagine there is a solution to that problem. Because I look at that 1.5 M, I was like, this 1.5 M, how far was it to move my family? But then, thank God, that's a long story, but it ended well. I'm okay. I didn't recover the money, but I felt that someone stood with me and I healed. Now, you also need to, in psychological first aid, assess what is this miss in this situation. We may have volunteers in that situation. We may have volunteer supporters. Some of them could be specialists. Some of them, they will be just be first people on the ground when something is going to happen. Let these people know, check the situation. Don't harass the victim and tell the victim, we want to know why you are in this. That is not the question at that time. Don't even investigate. Don't even ask, how did you get here? You know, we have been cautioning you to stop these bets and all those things. How did you get here? Those questions don't happen in psychological first aid. See the situation as it is. Don't be judgmental. Handle the person as the situation is. Just provide. There could be injuries probably. Some people during anxiety, they can even cut themselves. Some people try to commit the suicide. So you help the situation, you help the person at that situation as it is. That's not when you ask, mbona umefanya hivi? Na jana situliongea na wewe ukaniambia utafanya. Don't go that direction. In psychological first aid, support the person emotionally, provide the need at the moment, and in case there are injuries, this person needs that attention medically. That is what you need to. What are you not supposed to in this? Don't do the following. Don't do something a professional is supposed to do. Mtu amejikata, damu ni mingi, unasema leta chumvi tuweke. Unasema leta chumvi? Nani alisema chumvi inatibu? Ama madaktari hiyo inafanya kazi? Sijui. But don't do what a professional is supposed to do. Number 2, don't provide professional counseling therapy at that time. It is not needed. First things first. Number 3, do not encourage a detailed discussion of the event that has caused the distress. This detailed is needed at another stage. At the moment, provide the first help. Do not ask someone to analyze what happened. Don't ask someone, can you analyze what happened? How did it start? That time is not needed. You only need to be there, provide emotional support, stand with the person, and the needs needed at that moment. And don't press someone for details on what happened. Hebu niambie, Sasa hilo uji ulitengeneza ulifanya aje? Na mtu hapa watoto wake wameenda wote. Na of course is the cause. Lakini ukimuuliza maswali mingi, you are not doing first aid. You have now gone to the counseling, the therapy itself, when it is not yet time for the same. And then do not pressure people to share their feelings and reactions to an event. That is not the time. What do you feel about this? Are you okay that you did this? Is it okay for you to do this? Is this the only option? Do not allow for that stage. That is not the right stage for the same. Now, who needs to do psychological first aid? As I said earlier, this one is not professional. All of us can find ourselves in such a state. You only need to know the knowledge that you need to provide at that time. And that is what I've told you, the do's and the don'ts. You may be the person, the immediate neighbor of your roommate. You may be the office, you may be in the office with a colleague. You are the first person in that instance. So you qualify to be a psychological first aider. We may have medical professionals. We may have psychologists, counselors there, or mental health supporters. They can be there, but don't practice that profession at that time. Be there to arrest the situation. When do we need to do this psychological first aid? You can do it immediately. You can do it after the event. Some people may know how to cope by themselves. Like I know myself, I can manage a situation even before you come in. But there are people who cannot manage. You have to come in for them to gain stability to move ahead. So understand what is the right timing for the first aid that we are talking about. There are things that you cannot post. Don't tell someone who wants to commit suicide, I will talk to you tomorrow. Na nataka commit nini? Suicide. Don't tell someone who is missing food and tell the person, you sleep angry and tomorrow we can see how you can get food, and you know it cannot wait. Time to do this one is as soon as it is needed. And then you need to know where do you provide this psychological first aid. It depends on what you are handling. Some you can do in that environment, just to a safer place. Some you completely evacuate the people from there. Like for example, when we have got fire outbursts, when we have, for example, we have seen these petrol, whatever, these engines that carry petrol and those, and when they explode, you can't do that at that point. You have to get a safer place where people know they are safe. You can also do this. For example, those people have been sexually violated, and they feel that environment still reminds them of what happened. Take them to a confidential place, a safer place, and then you can now handle them emotionally, and support them and assure them that all is well. So then how do we provide this psychological first aid? We have 3 things that you need to do as a psychological first aider. 1, you look. 2, you listen. And 3, you link. When you look, what are you looking for? You look for information on what had happened and is happening. Look for that information. 2, you look for who is in this event that needs help, or in this instance that needs help. Number 3, look for safety and security risks. Is everyone safe in this instance? Is this person safe in this room and is alone and yet contemplating suicide? So is this person safe? You need to do something at that point as regards to security and safety risks. Check for physical injuries. Someone has been injured. You check for the same. Those are the things you are looking at so that you provide the help that is needed. Check for immediate, basic, and practical needs. That one I've said. And then check for emotional reactions. Those are the things you are looking into as you provide the first aid. What are you listening to? Listening refers to how the helper approaches someone. The approach you give to this person who needs help, it matters a lot. Listen to how the helper introduces oneself. So this person who needs help is looking at you, at how you're approaching the matter, how you're introducing yourself. They are all saying or looking at, am I safe with this person? So you look into that situation. You also look at, check whether the helper is paying attention and listens actively. Listening actively is one of the best first aid that we can give psychologically. When you listen, someone feels has been listened to, that person is have problem solved. What again are we looking for in this person? The person who is giving help, the person getting help is looking for, are you accepting his feelings or you are judging? Mostly we become judgmental, which is wrong. Let us accept these people's state and their feelings. Then they're also asking about needs and concerns. Are you asking, are you okay? Have you taken something? Are you comfortably seated? Can I provide you for 1, 2, 3 that makes you comfortable? This individual is listening to get those from you who is giving the help. Also, this one checks whether it helps the person in distress find solution to the immediate needs and problems. Don't be another problem in that situation. Don't become another burden in that situation. So linking, why do we link? So we said number 1, you look. Number 2, you listen. Number 3, you do what? You link. What are you linking? Link this person to where he can get help. For example, if this person needed information, link the person to where he can get information. Connect this person to the loved ones and social support. Probably you are dealing with someone in need of something and there's negligence from the family. Link this person to the family and ensure that the family is providing the help needed. Then you connect with the loved one. You tackle practical problems. We've said about that. Access services and other help. There could be medical services, needs treatment, psychological services, needs to be talked to, or done counseling. Those are the things that we link these people to in psychological first aid. So that is a very essential part of us. And you need only those 3. You need to look, listen, and link. You don't need to be a counselor to do that. You don't need to be a nurse to do that. You don't need to be a doctor to do that. But you can be who you are right now, so long as you can be there to provide that emotional support, to provide that practical needs, to help the person connect to the environment, and also restore the person's thinking. You have provided what we call psychological first aid. Do you think it can rescue? Do you think that one can rescue someone? Yes. So it is a common knowledge that we all need. And that common knowledge, you are here to get it and be a helper for someone. Be someone's shoulder to lean on. Be someone who someone can trust and say, if I go to this person, I know I will get help. So be there to offer the help. Now you who is doing psychological first aid, remember you have been exposed. So don't forget to look into yourself, listen into yourself, and link yourself. So the 3 L's that you are doing for the distressed person or the crisis person, remember to do them to yourself. Why? If you don't do that, remember a lot of negative information, a lot of negative scenes, they also affect your brain. And you become affected as this person is affected. And in the event you are not very good in taking care of yourself and your mental health, then it becomes very difficult for you also to withstand the challenge. So we are saying, you as a provider for the first aid psychologically, make sure that you also look into yourself to see, are there funny reactions after the event? Are there funny feelings after the event? Do you develop some emotional feelings, like you develop anger, fear, and all those things? Check into them and also get the link. Get yourself the link to get the help. where you need also to be counseled. We call it supervision. You can go through supervision, and that is a rest from your mind, and you continue with your normal life. There are people who have rescued people who have probably died in a fire outburst, and they never forget those images. They have problems about them later. So if it is you, make sure you also check into yourself, connect yourself to where you need to get help, and restore your engine into normalcy. And that is all I can say about psychological first aid. Now, a smaller bit of it that can take me 5 minutes. Now, we have learned about this, mental health and wellness. As Kisii University, we have the staffs here, we have students here. What do you think needs to be done as a strategy so that these things we can reduce them to our friends, to our neighbors, to our colleagues? And I'm posing that question to us. What do you think is good for you? You may have a financial crisis, and that financial crisis takes you to anxiety level, to high anxiety levels. Then you are not able to handle that, you don't get help, you go to depression. Now when you get to depression, you know you become a different person. You are not the same person that we knew. But how best can we prevent reaching those levels? So that as a university, we embrace those strategies, develop policies, and those policies can be helpful to reduce these cases. We remain mentally healthy. We remain productive in our offices, because productivity is actually not a justification that you have been employed to produce, but is a tool to get better. So productivity for you as a person is a tool. So what do you think we can do? I'll begin with the staffs. What do you think we can do to make Kisii University a better place to avoid depression, high levels of anxiety? And of course, I'll give you one, what we are doing today, this awareness program. Do you think they have been good? Awareness have been good, have been helpful? Yes. So we multiply this more and more. Narrow them down so that this hall is full next time. Because if this is to about 50 people attending, I know the university has over a population of over 8,000. So you can imagine how many are out there who have not gotten this information. So do a lot of mobilization, do a lot of this wellness awareness so that our people get information. We provide information. What else do you think we can do? Sir, can you have something to say? Someone help with the mic. Yes. As a university, and someone should be taking, Madam Kisii, are you doing something about that? Yeah. Someone should be taking note on the same, because this is for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Since this touches of colleagues and students, I think we need to have champions. We need to have a group, a number of people trained, and they can be able to mingle and interact. That's both on the staff as well as the students. So these people will be the champions of mental health awareness. So that now, they will provide a space. Just have a space where one knows if I go there, I'll be comfortable and there will be no other problem. I think those two will make some milestones.
Good. Thank you so much. Champions for this, and provide a resource space. Others would have a space where you know once I'm getting into this condition, that's where I get help. That's why in high schools you find the guidance and counseling offices. But here you may have even a page on the internet or in your website where someone can get help. We have seen online contacts, and you say, while in the university, and so long as you have a problem like this is a direct line you can call. So that's what he's saying. We provide champions for the same. Let me hear more, especially those who are here. Let me hear more from this side. Anyone with a new idea besides what SARS said. Yes. Anything you feel it will be better if that is done for your life here, we need you to be productive while here. Yes. Okay.
You see, today you will finish and go, though of course you said you will be coming. But on the ground, there is a need for, actually I could say each department. We could be having such sessions every now and again at the policy, I will be compelled to attend. And because of the seductive nature of this talk and what I've run today, if you take a bite, you will never go back. I think that would be one of the things.
Thank you so much.
Then,
low white to low department levels.
Yeah, and then the level of sensitization.
Good.
You know, many of us, when you are told you are coming for there is mental health, many think it is meant for people who have mental problems.
Yeah.
So until they are meant to know that each of us is a mental case, until you discover otherwise, there is a need at least to really run something and let people know that we need this type of Panado. Now me call it a painkiller. Yeah, as a survival strategy.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's awareness. Create more sensitization on the same. To reduce to lower levels. Let it not be the entire university at the same time, so that we can reach to more. Any other? Any preventive measures? Those are structural measures. Yes. Thank you. You can get that mic so that we hear you clear.
I don't know this, but I don't know whether there is like a diagnostic tool for mental health. Because I could think that I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And this diagnostic tool should be compulsory for every person to be diagnosed in a specific period of time, so that if we find out that you have mental issues, we send you to a counselor who is maybe situated in the university. Thank you.
Madam Judy, do we have that diagnostic tool? Yes. So, Madam Judy, she's more on this.
Yes, thank you for that input. Yes, we do have the diagnostic tools. For depression, we have a tool that is called PHQ-9, Patient Health Questionnaire. It has 9 questions that can be administered individually. Each one of us can administer the tool by himself. We don't need a doctor or a psychologist to do it for you. The questions are simple. In the last 2 weeks, in the last 2 weeks, have you felt lacking interest of doing activities that you love most? In the last 2 weeks, have you felt depressed, down, feeling down, losing hope, feeling at edge? In the last 2 weeks, have you had challenges with sleep? So the tool will help you guide. Like in the last 2 weeks, how many times have you had, for example, sleeping disturbances? Maybe twice in a week. Then we'll say you are having mild depression. If you say in the last 2 weeks you've experienced around 7 to 8 days, you didn't sleep well and you didn't know why, some even use sleeping pills and they don't sleep, then we'll say you are having moderate depression. We rate, it is measured differently depending on the severity. There are those who present with the mild depression, and with the mild depression, monitoring is done, whether the symptoms are going to be more or the symptoms will cease. So screening is done annually to the general population. And suppose you present with the symptoms before 1 year is done, you can be rescreened, then offered appropriate treatment. Those who present with moderate to severe depression, there are those who are put on antidepressants, accompanied by various psychological sessions or therapies, and mostly offer cognitive behavior therapy, which helps an individual to change from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. We have a lot of counseling techniques based on need. The counselor will be able to know which one is appropriate per person. So I've only stated 3 questions, there are 9. I've shared with the prof, she's going to print the questionnaires, and each one of us will be given, those who are willing, to administer them. And if you're not somebody scoring moderate depression and above, then we'll need further intervention. And I've said screening is done annually. And if somebody presents with symptoms before that 1 year, don't wait until next year, January. You can do a repeat screening. That can be done anytime you present with those questions. We have another tool that is called GAD, Generalized Anxiety Disorder 7. It has 7 questions. It measures the level of nervousness, anxiety, worries that an individual presents with. And if somebody is having some moderate to severe, and then there are those who are put on anxiolytics. We call them anti-anxiety. I can call it like that. It's a short-term treatment. Some can be on long-term treatment, depending on how this person is responding to treatment or not. So the tools are there, even on the internet. You don't wait even for Daktari to come and present to you. Just Google PHQ9, AMA, depression screening tool, anxiety screening tool. We even have those ones that we screen for hallucinations and delusions, having false beliefs and all that. So those tools are there. Somebody could be having delusions and hallucinations, unasema umetumiwa pepo. How many of us have seen things other people have not seen? Or you hear voices, unakuja ati daktari umeniita, and the daktari says no. But nimesikia sauti yako ikikuja. You will be having what we call auditory hallucinations. And these hallucinations, they touch our senses, the 5 senses. It could be visual hallucinations. You see things other people are not seeing. Have you heard people screaming, kuna mapepo zinakuja kwangu nyumbani? Niliona maghost, shindwe katika jina la Yesu. Munaleta bishop. This somebody needs to be talked to. As bishop prays, also this person needs psychological, ama medical, ama biomedical assessment and support. I don't know whether your question has been partially or fully answered. Thank you.
I think that is another strategy. Let's use that. Those tools are available, and once you use them, is for, remember, take care of your engine. If your engine knocks down, you also knock down. Students, what do you think we can do as a university to make sure that you're safe? We don't have instances of people committing suicide. We don't have when your girlfriend leaves you is an issue. What do you think can we do? Someone say something. Do we have something that our university can do, the administration can do, and you get safe? Yes. Kindly help me with the mic so that we can hear her. Those are policies that have been strategies that you can make to policies, and they help the university to solve this problem. Yes? It's on now.
Breaking of the ideas into department, in the same way, students can be involved by creation of clubs or platforms that involve students, and in these clubs there are trainers or there are counselors who are training these students, and these students who are in this club, they can help others, like a student can speak to a fellow student. You are trying to talk to each other. You talk of what's on your mind. You speak, and these by speaking out to your fellow, this fellow can be involved into the club, and this may spread among the students.
Thank you so much. Group ourselves. It may be clubs, it may be groups, and that will help in reaching out to the students individually. Any other idea? There's an idea there. The other hand. So, Professor, I think you're noting them down.
The school should provide funding to organize those organizations. Like we have the Jukubali organization. Jukubali is a mental organization. We fail to have many occasions because we lack funding. Because last year we had a meeting on 8th March. Since 8th March, we have not had a meeting again. So it's hard for us to hold constant meetings because we don't have funds, and looking for supporters is hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Support, financial support, which definitely can come from the institution or outside the institution. I heard there is our madam there who is doing something and they can support. So that is another strategy we can use. Another one, probably what we've left out that can be of help for you. Okay. Someone saying something? Okay. Now, essentially, what we need here is to provide strategies that can prevent these levels, provide information, provide resource spaces, so that people, before they reach that level, they have gotten help. Like the psychological first aiders, that can be a group. We can have a group like you've talked about, we can have those clubs. Let's also have the mental health first aiders. That can also help to reduce these ones. There's also what we call the structure, what the university can do, the structured preventive measures, like what we talked about, departments, moving down to our colleagues. That means that as we go to departmental levels, we are reaching to each of our individuals. We can see someone is not okay today, then build a culture. Building a culture means now establish policies that trap these mental illnesses. Those policies can be from the onset of entry to the university, then you work on them as you progress. Finally, take individual strategies on preventing these mental illnesses. Madam Judy discussed about them. The individual strategies are many. Talk to a friend, do those managing the body responses. You can also do what we call building or improving relationships. When you run away from people, when a problem comes, you are alone. So someone may not be there for you. Improve our relationship. Even when someone says hi in the middle of the night, don't say, I don't want to answer this, and you blue tick. Just say hi. You don't know what this person is saying. As you do the check-in, you are understanding the status of the person. What you do, we call it checking the state of the union. Between you and your friends, are you okay? Is someone okay? You also need to check on, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. And in our current state, you may be having tasks that you are not able to accomplish in a day. But alongside those ones, can you say, at least today, I was able to achieve 1, 2, 3. That's it puts the brain in a positive position. But when you say, I didn't manage this and that, the brain goes to a knock and says, it's like I did a useless work today. A done list is as good as what you have achieved. Don't always insist on a what to do list. That's what we usually do. In my diary, I say, I need to do this today. So in the evening, I say, what was I able to achieve? Congratulate your mind that at least I was able to do 1, 2, even if I didn't finish all of them. So embrace those individual strategies, and those individual strategies, they will make you a better person when you come to a group. And I will say that to this end, let us embrace mental wellness and mental health. That is your engine. We need you. Your children needs you. The university needs you as a student. We need you as a worker in the university, as a professor or as a lecturer, and we need to be there for our country and even for our world. But take one care, as much as you take care of your body when you're sick, you go to hospital, take care of that brain because that is your engine. That is usually ignored, but it always indicates signs and symptoms. Don't ignore them. Wishing you well as we embrace mental wellness. Thank you so much. I didn't say come for driving, come for counseling, come for mediation. We'll provide the services for the same. And also remember, as you provide this, professor, do it for yourself too. Thank you so much.
Point taken. Give her a good clap as she goes down. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, two things are remaining. Number one, the screening tool. Now, I look at you, we have not created a WhatsApp group that is homogeneous. But if I can send the tool, I know I can send to 10 people that are here. I can send this group. Are you in a common WhatsApp group? Yes. I think we can do that. 9 questions. You will take how many minutes? 9 minutes or less. Then we'll be guided on scoring. Judy is here to score. We are doing that as we plan for the plenary. Then from there, we raise our questions. So George, I'm sending you the questionnaire. In your form, you take a paper and respond. Number 1, you put the answer. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you will score. But be as okay. I think that is okay. We have many tools here. And we are wondering, they are so self-explanatory. You can respond to them at home. You will understand where you are. When you find you are moderate, you might need to seek help. If you are tending towards severe, then you know you must seek help. So, we'll distribute these ones.
Good afternoon. I know it's been many hours, and we sincerely want to thank you for sitting here. One thing that psychologists do is we don't start counseling kienyeji. We don't start counseling kienyeji. It's always important, and the reason why we are responding to this is because of what came up yesterday. And those who were here yesterday in our yesterday's discussion, there was this dilemma that how do you know that somebody actually has a psychological problem or somebody is pretending? Now the tools, the screening tools are supposed to help one. Assessment is normally for information, to help the psychologist or the doctor, whoever is handling you, and also for yourself. So when we give these tools, I'm happy that our colleague Judy has talked about the PHQ-9, it's used for depression. And by the way, when you are given the tools, we don't just use one tool for assessment. That is just one. There are many, many tools, and people who are specialized in assessment use what we call a battery of tools. So the PHQ-9 that you are given, I just want to add you another one because we had printed. And all this you can do at home on your own. At your own comfort, just assess yourself. But this is what I say with self-assessment, screening tools, that it's about you. Don't try to have a good score. Just have a score that really reflects your mental health status. There are three issues because in a given population, but in a population like ours, both the students and the staff, the mental health problems that present, we have anxiety, we have depression that has been talked so much about, and we also have substance abuse, drugs. Mambo ya drugs, wanafunzi. Any student coming to see me, there's always drug abuse. And drug abuse, sometimes, yes, it's the main mental health problem, but sometimes it's a symptom of, negative coping, a symptom of a deep-seated psychological problem. So I'll give you the tools. The one you've been given, the PHQ-9, please, let's score it and see if you are going to have the interpretation. Now, these ones we are going to share. There is one, a combined tool is called DAS. DAS helps you assess stress, depression, and anxiety. And that's a good tool because it's one tool that will help you assess 3 areas. So please have it. And the good thing is that the scores are behind there. So have it, each person, and then score yourself. And I've said don't try to have a good score. It's not a NEC exam. And there will be no number 1 or number last. So when you get time, just sit down and tell yourself that I need to know my anxiety, stress, depression. What should I do? And you have been given a number of coping strategies. I'm giving you the second one. PHQ-9 that has already been shared is for depression and especially screening. Should I screen a client with PHQ-9? Screening is one aspect, but you'd want to confirm the diagnosis. Does this person really have depression? So the second one I'm giving you is BDI. That is Beck Depression Inventory version 2. And is supposed to really help you get the severity of the depression level. Please, somebody can assist. Just make sure you have all the tools. Then, I'm giving you another one, drugs. Drugs and depression, drugs and anxiety, very common. Drugs and stress. So, there are many, many tools, and especially for drugs, there are so many. But I've picked this one of DUST 10, because DUST 10 also brings out other drugs other than, it's about, this one brings out drugs. So please have one and be honest with yourself. Do it during your own time and sit down and assess, because we know drugs come about as a result of especially negative coping. And especially among the youth, that group there. Ukiwezwa na maisha, you say, let me take these drugs and feel good, the feel good effect. So those ones you can do during your own time. Let us have the results of PHQ-9. It was sent to everybody. Finally, I want to say this. when all is said and done, in this country, we have high prevalence of suicide. Almost every other day there's a story about suicide, whether in the media or in your own context. And please, suicide is one of the mental health challenges that we are increasingly coming across. And unfortunately, it's coming down to even children. So let us have listening ears, and let us be on the lookout for signs of suicide. So once we are done with the tools you'll do on your own. So once we are done with the PHQ-9, if we are done, then we will be getting our facilitators. We have a panel discussion or questions and answers so that they can respond to some of our concerns. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to mention. I hope kila mtu amepata tool. Which one are you missing? Which one? Dust. Dust 10? Dust 10? Dust 10 or dust? Please check. Then there is another one for 3, the ones that I've given so far. There's another one that Professor Nyamonge had, which was left by yesterday's facilitator. Workplace, you can do it on your own. Okay, and we are saying that be honest. See, next exam, it's about you. Just be as honest as possible. So at this point, can we, just keep the tools, you will respond to them. And then the other thing I want to say about the tools, they are symptoms based. So most of them, those disorders, they are developed around the symptoms. So when you are responding to a particular item, then it's asking you like, do you experience these symptoms? So they are symptoms based. So it's a good way of checking whether you are depressed, stressed, or you are experiencing anxiety. Prof, I think we can get to plenary so that I know some of our facilitators are going far. Yeah. Facilitators, come up front if you facilitated. We now want you to listen to us. We have been listening to you. Now listen to us. And our questions are going to be contextualized. I know in psychology the syllabus is the same, wherever you train. The research has same facts. But when you come to the context, is when you realize the story is different. So we want to contextualize and see what really happens. And then from here, I keep asking Prof, where do we go to from here? What next? Madam Sheba, what next? Do we meet boardroom and end the story there? So participants, you are as free. Father, I'm kindly requesting that you don't leave. Today we are handling clients biopsychosocial and spiritual. The spiritual component is very important. So please come back. And when you come back, I hope you will join the panel, because we have a lot of spiritual issues to deal with. So I think we get going. Panelists, maybe we can take the first 3 questions and see whether we have any other from there. So first question. But it's also okay to raise your concern. It's also okay to add. You are also specialists, by the way. The best therapist is you, because you understand where you are. First question, who is the first to go? First question, Dr. Berry. You are thinking loudly, Madam Sheba. So that you say, my question goes to panelists. Let them just introduce themselves. Let them say their names. The mic is there.
Hello. Good afternoon once again. My name is Councillor Judy.
Councillor Judy. Remember, Councillor Judy is the first councillor.
Dr. Lister.
Dr. Lister is the second councillor.
Dr. Bina.
Dr.
Bina.
Bina is the second councillor. So just say, my question goes to.
Good afternoon. My question goes to Councillor number 1, Dr. Judy. I'm sorry I came late, but I just got to somewhere. There's a time I feel I should be alone. Just seated alone, and you see I'm working. I'm in a working place. And 2, when I start something, I want to finish. So I don't know how I finish it. And it has brought so much grudges with other people. So am I the problem? Am I sick? Or what?
Thank you, Registrar. Madam Judy, no. Madam Judy, you've taken that down. Just note down. So when we are done with that, the councillors will respond according to questions. Any other? There's a hand up there. Some young person to run with this. So you address to a specific, or if it's general, any of them will respond.
Good afternoon. I just want to know whether procrastination is a form of mental illness.
Yes, I have 2 questions. One, there was the issue of isolation, and as an indication of mental illness, but many at times you'll get that some people in the workplace will isolate depending on that the topic is on being handled is not of interest to them. For example, you'll walk into the workplace and people have small talk, which is good, but you know, when it is always the norm, and you say, okay, fine, I don't feel very comfortable in the kind of conversations that I find in this place. So you'll get a worker who prefers to be at their desk because they know there isn't really much to be shared. Is that an indication for anything? Secondly, is on the issue of the else. That is what has just been presented this afternoon, that some of these things, when you do them, you must also do them to yourself. We have had a challenge of professionals to help, especially in debriefing, other than getting a professional person to help an individual debrief. What are some of the techniques for debriefing? Thank you.
Noted. Next.
Mine, I do not know whether to consider it as a question. One is for Councillor Chudi. There is this, you called it Ikigai concept. I'm told on the part of men, we have the capacity at times to switch to the blank space in our head. And so to some degree, you are just there. And I remember I want to connect this to what you said, that we need to find your purpose. Don't you think at times when those who do not have this concept of purpose, to some degree it is a survival technique, and actually for them it's a strategy towards avoiding stress. What did I see again? Then there are these stones. I think you presented something there which presented the concept of self-reflection. And I have just, from experience, I've learned, though of course we do say there is a need for us to prioritize, that from amongst our other competing obligations, we are under obligation to prioritize. But I've found, to some people it becomes hard like you have 10 things on a list and they are really competing. At times it becomes hard to separate and say, let me begin with this and this. And even when I'm working on one, still my mind is on the remaining. And this becomes a source of stress. I don't know. Is there another strategy that we could engage so that you deal with them in isolation and again you let them go from your mind and then have them come back when you are through with one? What did I again see? The rest will be coming as I... And then there is this notion of self-disclosure. There are people who never even tell their wives that they have problems. It's just there like a stooge, looks normal, but going through stress, at times it becomes hard to tell. Even the wife cannot tell what he or she is thinking, or even the husband cannot tell what the wife is thinking. Is there something else you could use maybe to have them come out? Because they are there, they never speak, they are closer to the animal kingdom. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Some are comments, some are questions. I think our facilitators can respond to that first round of questions, and then we see whether we can take another round before we call it a day. So, facilitators, you are good to go. We start with Judy. Kindly respond to the questions that you are given.
Thank you very much for your question. Question number one. A participant asked, is it okay to be alone? Sometimes it is okay to have your you time. And during that time is what you practice, what we say self-care. You need to be alone to meditate. That is one strategy for self-care. You want to be alone, you meditate. Think about the things you've undergone through, the things that you have overcome, and how are you going to, you've already identified or noted the things you are going through, you've understood them, and that one now helps you do what we, during resilience, self-care, resilience, and when I talked of emotional regulation, it is not a mental disorder. Another one asked the same question about isolation. You may be in an office. You are working and people are there talking or discussing things that are not adding value, and you have work on your desk as a registrar. Going to isolate yourself so as to complete your task doesn't mean is a mental illness. I want us to differentiate between the withdrawal or isolation with someone who is having depression. That one is something that becomes acute and persistent for 2 weeks. Consistently for 2 weeks is when we will say there is a problem. You don't want to interact with someone, you don't want to associate with someone, you don't want to interact, you have nothing to, you don't want to be with any other person. But the one you are talking about, the you time, it could be over the weekend, it could be evening after work. You want to meditate about how the day was. How was it? What did I do well? What did I finish? What plans am I having for tomorrow? That one you cannot say it's a mental illness. It's the you time, it is allowed. But it becomes a problem if this situation is consistent for 2 weeks and above, is when now we'll be concerned and find out what is it that is making you to isolate yourself. Then you asked the second question about procrastination. Is it a sign of mental illness? When somebody is having a task and is not able to complete the task, I may not say it's a mental illness. It could be a sign of burnout. You've done so much, you've not taken time to rest. Some people don't take even leave days. They are working throughout. And these are the people who suffer burnout. I think you discussed that yesterday. They don't want to be on off duty. Have you noted some people who are on leave and still come to work, to hang around? Some people retire, anakuja tu ati nimekuja tu kusoma gazeti. They don't want to be at home. Because when they were working, work-life balance, they didn't balance. Now they imagine their life should be at workplace. So when it reaches a time that they should be at home, they just want to be at work. Somebody is on leave and asking, mumetuma report, and you hand it over to someone who is acting on your behalf. So those are the things you are talking about. Procrastination is not good. We need to schedule our priorities. You are not supposed to complete. You also noted that you want to work throughout. You need to prioritize. What are you supposed to do today? What is the most urgent activity or duty are you supposed to perform? Some of us will want to do everything up to tomorrow's work. You have to know what is it that is most urgent. What is it that can wait? We know we do monthly reports. By 5th is the deadline. So are you supposed to do the reports so that on 5th you are just compiling, or you want to do your reports on 4th evening? The challenges of procrastination. So wanting to do everything, I cannot say everything here is a mental illness. Somebody is a workaholic. Will want to do all the tasks alale akiwa comfortable. So where it has reached, when it reaches this time, I'll want us to know, hii kazi yaishi. Ingekuwa inaisha, we won't be here. It's continuous. Do what you can. Take a rest for you to replenish and continue working again the following day. I'm only addressing those who are sent to me. Then the Ikigai concept that you asked about, the purpose of your living. What do you love? Why are you here? What are you supposed to do? Those are the things you should be knowing. There are those people who are there not knowing. What are they supposed to do? What are your hobbies? What are your plans? What are your contribution to the community? So the purpose of your living. And then I quoted that you need to schedule your priorities. If your priorities start scheduling you, then that is where you suffer burnout, and then it impacts on your mental health. You need to have, that's why people have work plans. I don't know whether here we do have, teachers have the scheme of work, they call it, other institutions, people have work plans. You have to show week 1, what are you going to do? Week 2, what are you going to do? Week 3. And then concerning the stones, work-life balance. I said the stones can be a reflection of an individual who is having many tasks. You have your hobbies that you want to accomplish. You have the family that you are supposed to play your role as a family person, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a grandfather to someone. You are working. There is much expectation from your employer. There is that is expected. Are you meeting their objectives? You are the same person with those around 6 or 10 stones. Are you going to balance them? That's why I said trying to balance, one may outweigh the other. I said now it's better to integrate, for you to have a boundary that I am supposed to be this, and at this time I should be that one, so that you'll be able to balance your purpose of living, or whatever is expected of you. I don't know whether I've tackled all the questions that were addressed to me. I think so, because I noted them down. I don't know whether there is any addition from...
Thank you. I'll address... I'll also address on the 3 L's from the point of the first aid givers. Isolation, we have a coping strategy as individuals that we call setting boundaries. When you're setting boundaries, you are not guarding your space by putting a wall, but you have gates in your boundaries so that you only allow what is good for you. So those that don't impact on you well, you have the freedom to dispose them. So when you feel like some talks are not of your interest, you are very good in setting boundaries. So we are allowed to set boundaries. That is one way that we can protect ourselves from getting to these mental illnesses. I'll also address else on the first aid givers. The first one, the look, is you look at your reactions. Look at yourself and your reactions. Are they normal? Check them out. Recognize when your reactions or are signs or symptoms of high stress or burnout. You may be exposed to a situation or a crisis where it was not so friendly for you to cope. So it becomes part of you. And when it becomes part of you, it affects you. So you was helping one, but you get affected and it remains with you. Those are the things you check, whether it remained with you and then get the help to get them out before they cause a distress to you. Listening to how reactions are affecting you. Probably what you saw in the scenes, what you saw in the crisis, or in that kind of environment affecting you. Acknowledge and accept your feelings. Don't live in denial. Accept that for sure, when I saw this, I don't feel the same again. Work out what is affecting a reaction so that you can how to manage or cope better. That's number 2, the listening part of it yourself, the linking part of it yourself. Now you link with others. Reach out for support from others, either at home or at work. There's what we call supervision. As people work with human services, either in mediation, in counseling, we are listening, we are guiding, we are exposed to such kind of, we are vulnerable for such. You are advised to go for what we call supervision. I may handle a number of clients, then I feel like this is too much on me, then I'll go to my supervisor, who is a counselor of another level, to supervise me. I share my story, and then I get depleted of those feelings. That's one way to get that. But you can do still this more. You can protect yourself further by belonging to a team. You can find the work meaningful. You enjoy doing that work. Create a positive attitude to the work that you're doing. You get motivated by helping others. You are able to leave work behind and take a rest. That's what Madam has said, that when it's time for weekend, let's be on weekend. When it's time to be at home, let's be at home. Let your colleagues know that there is do not disturb mode that you will do at 9. Because you know this is now time for my family. That is what you want to do. After 5, you say, I don't want to go with this problem at home. I will leave this work here. So set your boundaries right. When we carry what we have seen beyond our environment, then now it starts to haunt back on us. The organization, the institution, can also participate in helping to have these teams in place. Teams that rescue, teams that supervise, trainings, sensitizations, so that when you know you are helping and you have been exposed and the challenge remains with you, you have somewhere to go for the help. And in the event we don't have that, we have several referral places. That's why we have those who have undergone gender violence, they have a place we can go, like Kisii level 6, we can get that help. Mental health awareness, we can get that from our doctors here. So know where you can get that help. So once you know, you are well linked. So that you know, I will get this, I'm exposed, but I will know where to get that help. So, and then about that one asked that you want to finish everything. That's why we said you need to develop individual strategies. Those are signs that you are walking on the road of that mental illness. You would need to say, I don't want to perfect on this, but I would have want to finish on this. Don't say I'm lagging behind. Say, at least I've prioritized on what was necessary. See the positives. When the brain hears the positives from you, the brain is like, is motivated to do more for you. It's behaving just like another human being. So that brain that is working for you will be motivated to do more if there is what you can actually say. For example, like today I was able to accomplish 10 out of 12 activities. That's positive. But don't say, I feel like today I didn't do much. The brain gets disappointed. So let us motivate the brain, that's our engine, to give us better services by being positive, so that it can get more energy to clear what you are not able to clear the day. Thank you.
I was not directly given a question, but I think I can talk about 2 things that were asked. I want to echo first on the procrastination bit, even though my colleague has talked about it. Anytime you find yourself procrastinating something acutely means immediately, for an immediate purpose, it's a coping mechanism for something. A coping mechanism to either something that has started disturbing or bothering you, or something hindering you from having to do what you're supposed to do. But as she also said, if it becomes chronic, that if it takes more than 2 weeks or so, it's actually a symptom of a larger problem. So if you remember that, it becomes very easy to distinguish and know when exactly the problem is, or if it's just a habit that is beginning to develop. Then the last question that has not been handled is techniques of debriefing, whereby we know debriefing basically is trying to make somebody understand what the major event or problem is, how it is making them feel, how they have reacted to it, and trying to validate their emotions and getting coping mechanisms around it and planning for the future, in a nutshell. So you ask yourself, it has like 7 steps, but we can break them down into 3. Ask yourself, first thing, what has happened? Get facts, not rumors. Then 2, ask yourself why it matters and the emotional aspect of it. How exactly did it make you feel? And if you're the one holding the debriefing session, you are supposed to allow people to express themselves and tell you exactly how they feel. If it's disappointment, if it is grief, if it is anger, you let people properly express themselves. Then you now sit and ask yourself, now what? What next for the future? So you map up a plan, see how to handle the problem, get solutions, then help them understand, walk through that journey, and how to cope for the future or prevent it from happening if it can be prevented. That is in a nutshell 3 stages. It can be broken down into around 7, whereby the first you assess the problem, the second you find facts about the issue from their point of view, not from yours, from the person who's explaining to you that they have a problem. And then there's a thought process. The thought process is whereby somebody now sits, as we said, and talks to you about their feelings. This is what I thought could happen. This is what I expected to happen. Then the reaction bit is the impact of the problem. What is the worst case scenario that came about from this issue? Then the symptom phase, they tell you now, this is exactly what I've been feeling. I've been annoyed because I expected this to happen, but it didn't come out and it didn't happen. Then the teaching phase comes next after the symptomatic phase, whereby you're trying to help them understand the situation as it is, where they stand, and you try to provide management or coping strategies to their problems. And the last is normally re-entry, where you summarize everything for them to understand and help them follow up for the future so that they can be able to reintegrate and process their emotions and actually work so that if such an event happens again, they can be able to cope. I think in a nutshell, that's about debriefing process.
Thank you, our facilitators, that your responses are quite insightful. Back to the audience. We'll just take maybe one more, 2, 3 most urgent questions. Then I want one participant to just maybe add his or her voice to what the facilitators have said from your experience. So that will be like 4 items. Then after that, I will call one of our colleagues to give a vote of thanks, and Professor Nyamwange will make the final remarks, and we end this. So I start with 1 up there. I hope you have a mic. 2 up there. 3, the most urgent. And then somebody should be thinking about adding a voice to this session. Yes, my brother.
Yes, mine is pretty simple. There are tasks that I used to do well previously, but nowadays when I try to do them, I don't have the patience to wait until I finish them. Do you think I still have a mental issue?
Thank you. It's not specifically directed to a particular facilitator, but they've noted down. Somebody will respond. Number 2, my brother there.
Okay, thank you. Mine is also such a condition where the mind receives multiple stimuli at the same time, like do this, do that, go here, sleep, don't sleep. So in such a condition, it's either I switch off, that means I stop caring about the environment around and just relax. And as a result, I end up with a headache. So is that a condition?
Noted. Number 3, Mr. Vaswet.
Yeah, mine is also a very quick one, and it regards to psychological first aid that was just presented. What should I do if I want to administer the first aid to, let's say, a patient or somebody, then this person is not cooperative? What should I do? And probably I'm the only person who could offer that at that stage. What should I do?
Great. Facilitators, you are good to go. Are you adding your voice or a question? I'm looking for somebody to, you will add a point. Yeah, so your voice.
Yes, as I said earlier, but you have answered. There's this thing called anxiety disorder, and it's really eating one of my relatives. Do we have treatment, or how do I go about it? Because she gets sick, even at night. I've been taking her to level 6 to other hospitals, but they say she has this anxiety disorder. What is it, and is it treatable, or what do I do?
Anxiety disorder, is it treatable? Finally, just add your voice, then we give it to facilitators.
Of power struggles in their hearts, somebody says no. Maybe because of that feeling that, and at times even say somebody wants to help me, who told him I'm needy. And so you end up again being hurt. But today I've learned how to go about it. Then Dr. Bina, yesterday you were saying something about, issues that are actually pose a challenge to our mental health, and I picked this utilitarian approach to life nowadays. Friendships are based on what you will provide. Institutions are really, the focus is on that which you could provide. The emphasis on performance, productivity. But there is little room for actually meetups and, avenues through which we could release pressure. So I want to say, now I've known how to deal with difficult people and difficult situations. Then I've always, you said, and I always say I'm a joker, I've always said that God knew why I was born a boy. For a long time, I've never known how to say no. And I always go ahead and say, because of this, I could be the only girl, if I were born a lady, I could be the only lady in the world with children born out of wedlock without the responsible fathers, simply because of not knowing how to say no. So I want to say this is very important, especially that many people tend actually to be tackling tasks meant for others. It could be out of delegation, simply because you do not know how to say no. So somebody was also saying along the same line, we should learn on how not to say yes. And in that way, just as an approach, you will be able to, as a strategy to avoid stress. Because of course, I'm not saying don't help, but there is Jesus above us. You can't take every task on Jesus' behalf. So then I want to say finally, thank you very much for all that we have learned. And I always say, if we had this famous, I always say, if I had the power to compress this group of presenters into, I compress them into something manageable or manageable sizes, and place them in our small African kiondo, so that everywhere you go, you tell people, see, these are wonderful people, and I think you remember what they have said here, but now I'm human as everyone else. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. You are so humorous. That is part of mental health management. So facilitators, you can briefly, very briefly respond to the first four questions, and then we'll end this session.
God will give us the grace of being compressed. Now, I'll start with the question that we were given about lack of patience. Does the lack come with irritability, or it's just you're not patient enough to do something? You can't give yourself enough time to finish an activity. If it has an aspect of irritability in it, then ask yourself what is the underlying cause. Something is pushing you. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. Lack of patience because of a particular reason, again, it could be one, you have too many competing tasks. You don't know how to plan your day. You are not sure of what is urgent vis-a-vis what is important. So if you try and analyze your tasks first, then break it down into simple deliverables, then you'll see whether you're patient or not for that. I think it goes also a bit hand in hand with what the question we're being asked about multitasking, although somebody else will answer that, whereby you find too much stimulus comes in, you have so much to do, you don't have the patience for that. Although men, we have realized with time, and it was scientifically discovered, that men are very poor in multitasking. I think that's how God just created the male gender. You cannot be able to do more than 2 activities at a given time. One of them shall suffer grossly. Women, on the other hand, were given the power of multitasking, I think because of childbearing issues. So God said, be able to take care of a child and cook at the same time, and clean and think of food and everything else. Now, when you put those two together, you can't be able to multitask. Is it because you don't have some patience? You can't plan yourself. So generally, just saying that lack of patience could be a sign of a mental issue without any other underlying symptom, I don't think is not good enough. So just try and first a bit of mapping and planning, a bit of task scheduling, slow down yourself, urgent versus important, then you'll be able to know whether you're good to go or there's an issue. Because as we age again, our neurons are wired to doing only the important things first. And our neurons start dying off the older we get. So the body's brain also has a protective mechanism. You lose some form of memory, you become slow in some things. So that your body could also be telling you, slow down a bit and plan yourself a little. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you. Let me respond to 2 concerns from members. One, what to do when the one you're supporting through the first aid, psychological first aid, is not cooperative. One of the principles in this psychological first aid is do not harm. Do not harm. Very key in that. Yours is to provide emotional support, practical support, be there for the person for any help, but do not harm. Now, there are things that you can't do, and there are things you do during this session of first aid. Listen actively, be trustworthy and honest in what you're doing. Assume if it was done to you, how would you feel about it? And help people. You are helping, genuinely helping. In the event that someone feels like you are trying to help but not appreciating the help, reassure the person that you will be there if need arises, and refer. That's why we say you link. So check the next level. So don't force that I have to help you because I'm the one alone with you here. So you reassure the person, yes, for now you may not need my help, but in the event you feel you need my help, I will be there for you. And then you refer. That's what we call now the link. You go to the next L. So you looked, you listened, then you linked. So the linking, whether you are able to handle or not able to handle, is necessary, because you are now directing the person to the right services, whether it's medication, whether it's therapies and all those. You are there. Consider yourself a lay person and just provide that, being there, emotional support. Be there to provide any physical need that may be coming up, or practical help. Injuries have taken place. Identify there's an injury here. You have already identified the problem, so you are linking to the right person to deal with the problem. So always let this remain confidential. That's very key in this first aid. Someone can only trust you if they see that you are the first person there when there was a sexual harassment or violence, and then you are there, you saw or you confirmed and you said all this. Remain confidential of whatever that you do in psychological first aid. Another thing, another concern is when you're not able to do this or that, seeming like there's something that is mixing up. Usually that's a sign that, because ordinarily you wake up in a day and you have your what to do. You have your diary and you say, today this is what I want to do. Then you have it for the week, you have it for the month, you have it for the year. So when you are not able to do this or that, it means there is mixing up, there is confusion in your activities. Something is not coordinating well. So you need to calm down, find why you are behaving like that. And in the event you fail to identify any causes that are around you, then you need to refer yourself, get services. That is not very normal. There's something that usually disturbs and you don't see it, but it gives you a lot of outcomes in your reactions. So find out what it is, because that's not a good sign. Because every time you finish a task, you'll be able to say, I was able to do 1, 2, 3 today. I didn't manage to complete these others. I'll carry them over to the next day, or I'll do them like this. So once in the event you're not able to do that, then there is a mix-up somewhere and some confusion somewhere that you need to find out why, and therefore you refer yourself for therapies or for services that can help you identify the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to tackle the question that one of us asked about anxiety disorder. This is, it was explained yesterday, extreme fear, somebody being nervous or worried, and it cannot be explained in most cases, the causes of all that, unless the person goes to a therapist, who will be able to explore and find out the root cause of that. And when you get a client with anxiety disorder, it is treatable. It's treatable. There are those who have responded well to therapies alone. There are those who have responded to treatment. Others have responded by both treatment and the therapies. When you get that client, I know you take the client at night. We don't have counselors at night. Sometimes anapewa dawa na mnarudi nyumbani. It's good to identify, as psychologists, they are here from Kisii, around this area, to talk to the client. And this client is going to offer the first line support, or the first help to somebody with anxiety, psychological therapies. You want to find out what it is that's making the client to have the anxiety, extreme worry, extreme fear. Somebody is nervous and cannot explain the causes of all that. Somebody is thinking something bad is going to happen and they cannot explain what are these bad things. And mostly they do about CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. This one will help the client to leave the unhelpful thoughts that the client is having, to only focus on the positive thoughts and the negative thoughts. In mostly the things that are that bring about the anxiety disorder, it could be genetics, could be the environment, our childhood traumas, childhood experiences that were not addressed, the impact on an individual as an adult. And then I talked about the mindfulness and the relaxation techniques. I talked about breathing in and out, taking a cup of water. Maybe just breathe in and out, kunywa maji kidogo. You'll find that fearness is just leaving slowly. If the person is having anxiety because of the past trauma, then we recommend trauma-focused therapy. It could be somebody who is anxious, might have involved in an accident but survived. So anytime we see, maybe he's in a matatu or in any vehicle and the driver is over speeding, the person starts now screaming, being fearful, remembering whatever had happened. But if the person is taken through the trauma-focused therapy, that will help. And I've talked about medication when needed. Not all of them are going to be given medication. I had one client who was a high school teacher involved in an accident, and he had a series of losing his wife losing babies preterm. So those things brought a lot of fear. Anaweka mtoto nursery, anakuwa mzuri, then the person dies. That was the causes of the anxiety disorder that this person was having. So most of the time was admitted. When they do the lab works, everything is okay. Until now the person said, can this person see a psychologist? Then he was saying, me, I don't need to see a psychologist. Me nauma na kichwa, nasikia woga, usiku I na panic attacks. I don't breathe at night. So later on, after therapies, I was able to establish the causes of anxiety was the trauma that he has undergone as a person. Himself undergoing through 3 accidents that he survived, and the vehicle were written off, losing money, losing babies. You know, those are the traumas that he never worked on. People will pray, say it is well, and then that is it. So the person suppresses the pain, the trauma into the unconscious mind. Then it resurfaces later on. And that is what the presentation now. Somebody developing anxiety, and then people wonder what is happening. And then the lifestyle of this particular person is the lifestyle support strategy. Regular sleep. We talked of 6 to 8 hours a day. Then you reduce stimulants, caffeine. It will make somebody become anxious. Palpitations. How many of us have had palpitations ukikunywa kahawa? You feel like your heart is beating very fast. I don't know. Who has experienced that? Then unaanza kujipata umekuwa nervous, umekuwa anxious, you don't understand why. And then stress management. 3 A's of managing stress. You either avoid it, alter it, or accept it, depending on what type of stress you are undergoing. Then you seek for social and family support, and also faith and value-based. There are those who will believe with prayers. The 3 works in harmony. Medication, psychology, religion. We call it psycho-religion to support the client. Thank you.
Probably before just a minute, someone was asking about multitasking. And in this mental wellness, the brain understands best when there's one task, monotasking. Have your multitasks, but then handle one at a time. Once you do that, you don't confuse the brain. But there are those of us who, I'm doing something here, the same minute I'm doing something, that's mixing them up and mixing the brain. But multitasking is very good and very possible, but one task at a time. You put aside this one, I'm done with it, bring another one, you're done with it. If there are those that can wait, those that need to come earlier, solve them fast before you do the rest. And then get the heaviest to be done early in the morning. The one that you know is heavy for you, if you are done with it, the rest is like hot air. You'll be able to finish the rest in an easy way, and then you avoid that kind of mixing up your brain. Thank you.
Thank you, facilitators. There's a question I want us to answer. It shouldn't go unanswered. Somebody there, as you talked about the mind, what goes on in the mind, many thoughts, I'm thinking of racing thoughts, I'm thinking of, and then now he says, I just shut off. Dr. Ben, I was getting auditory hallucinations because I could hear some commands, do this, do this, do this.
Maybe he can, we can try to get a proper history around the whole problem. Because when you say that your mind is giving you a lot of stimulus, the question is it that you have a lot of things that you need to do? Is it that you feel like something is telling you you need to take this bottle of water, throw it, then somebody else is telling you you need to sweep the room? Or you have too much to do and you're trying to reorganize yourself, but you can't. I think it's a little bit difficult to specifically specify what the problem could be unless we dive deeper and get to understand what exactly are these commands that because you use the word command. My mind is getting a lot of commands, and a lot of multiple stimulus. And eventually I get overwhelmed and shut down. So it needs to be broken down so that we can truly understand what it means, so that it can be properly handled.
Have you been helped?
No. He has not been helped.
Do you feel helped?
No, he hasn't.
What doctor is saying is that probably it's not normal, and especially if you are getting commands and then, but that is something that may require further further services, like maybe screening assessment, from their diagnosis, then a decision is made.
Yes.
Based on those symptoms. I don't know whether you want to add something, but that would be very important. So from the facilitators, you realize that there is so much that psychologists do. And therefore, our work is not just talking. So much to be done. So please, I would say that you need to seek further help from a psychologist who will decide, you know, the level of the problem and whether it requires medical attention, psychotherapy. But psychotherapy works combined with medical attention where there is need. Now, I want to say that colleagues, we couldn't have a better workshop than this.
Sorry.
And we couldn't have better facilitators than the ones that we have had. It's been wonderful. It's been a discussion that has been very insightful. We can only hope that going forward, we are going to continue with this conversation of mental health. I know Sheba is very passionate about mental health. And she's a trained peer counselor, and I've always said that. Just cross over. So we are really grateful at this point. I want to call Mr. Basweti. He has sat here faithfully and left a very busy office. And he's one of our senior colleagues in this university, but he chose to be here. So to give us a vote of thanks, and then I'll call Prof. Nyamwange to come and finish for us. From there, yeah, we can move on. So karibu, Bwana Basweti.
Is it good afternoon or it's evening? Before actually I give a vote of thanks, colleagues, I will invite you, we give our facilitators, the panelists, sorry, a heart clap before I give my vote of thanks. Can we do the 5 factorial? 5 factorial, you know how it goes? Okay, let's start. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 2. Thank you. They are confused. But you have done the best you could do. Thank you very much. Thank you, our respected coordinators. What you have done to us, our staff, and we'll go down into books of history, because this is something that many of us will go out carrying. As my colleague said, if he had a power like Jesus Christ, he could put you together and then he walks proudly out there. Our resource persons, you're great. Thank you so much for what you have brought to us. It's an eye-opener to some of us, because going forward, as we had already indicated, we are going to make resolutions. Those resolutions will help this university, particularly the staff. As we come to the end of this meaningful session on mental health awareness, I could like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this presentation impactful and insightful. That is great. First and foremost, we sincerely thank our esteemed speakers for enlightening us on such an important topic. Your words helped us understand that mental health is just as important as physical health. That is great. And your practical insights have encouraged us to be more empathetic, aware, supportive, both towards ourselves and others. We are also grateful to the organizers, as I indicated, and coordinators who took the initiative to arrange this session and ensured its smooth conduct. A special thanks to our respected presenters and the university management for having allowed it to conduct such a wonderful session. Their constant support, of course, we appreciate the management's constant support because they know the welfare of our staff and also our students. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants, both those who are here physically and even those who are listening online. We thank you so much for your attentive listening and active involvement, particularly on your comments and also on your questions. A big thank you to all of us. To wind up, I would like us to give ourselves a heart clap as I finish this Thanksgiving. Ya Nyayo. Let's go the Nyayo style. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Angusha. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.